tired of the meta, so I decided to play like the Blightsworn with Tour Guides or Twilight or whatever you want to call it. So I'll get into it. I'll be honest, the list is pretty bad, but it's a fun deck to play, so whatever. I like it. So 3 JD, standard. Dad, because I'm running Tour Guides, and 14 Darks total, including that. So plus I can control my graves somewhat well between all the different monsters I'm running and the spells and traps. So yeah, I figured it'd be good. I never drew it today, but you know, what can I say? So then you have BLS, standard, and triple Sork, because pretty much any Lightsworn or Tour Guide will make it live. So yeah, and it's just a really good boss monster. It forces warnings and stuff like that. Plus you can make Arcanite with that and Veiler, which is really cool. So then you have one Raikou. I thought 2 would be too many. 1's good, it's a name, One Orcus, pretty much the same. One Aaron, I really like it. One Jane, it's a beater. One Gareth, to help mill with the Lumina. Now the Lumina's at 2. That Lumina being at 2 is pretty much the reason one of the reasons that inspired me to play this deck. Then double Lumina, obviously. Double Lila. Double Wolf. I don't really wish I'd played a third in this particular build, but if I were to play a more pure version of Lightsworn with less darks, then I definitely would have played a third Wolf. So then for hand traps, you have 2 Trags, Gores, and Honest. Yes, I consider these hand traps, that's what they are. I mean, these 3 kind of serve as boss monsters too, and this one you can sort of poke, but I mean, still, it's a hand trap. Anyway, so those 3, Trag and Gores really help out the deck, because if your hand is kind of dead, which is going to happen, you can just sort of sit on them for a while, and then Honest just protects you, and you can be aggro with it, and it's really good. And then, yeah, Veiler. I just run 1 because I know I could probably get away with running 2, but I think 1's good in the main for now. I don't run Max C because, well, 1, I sold mine. 2, I don't feel that I would absolutely need it in this particular deck. So yeah. Then double card Trooper. It's amazing. It mills your stuff. It nets you a card when it dies. Ramming this into Ryo feels really good, so yeah. Then Plague, still good despite Maxi being around. Yeah, Maxi doesn't really do much against this deck because you can stop in a comfortable enough position. Like for example, I can drop, well, let's say they have to sort of read that I'm gonna go off that turn, so they have to go, because most of my special summons are inherent other than Plague and Lumina. And Lumina, I'm just going to end with Lumina and a Lightsworn. And I probably wouldn't go any further than that anyway. So that's good. The only thing that it could hit is Plague, and even then, that's not that bad. So then, 2 Necros, protect stuff to dark. Then, the Tour Guide engine. I wanted to play these, just try it out. Because, 1, it's a dark. 2, you can make Xyz monsters, especially Levia, which is really good in the deck, because you're going to be removing a lot for Sorcerer, BLS. Dark Arm 2, Plague gets removed, Necro gets removed. You can remove Lumina, let's say, for Chaos Sorcerer, BLS, bring it back with Levia, or use its effect, which I think is just really cool. Then, the 1 Tourbus, because you're going to be milling your Tour Guide targets, including himself, you're going to want to send some stuff back, or you're going to want to have another card in your deck, like another target in your deck. And so Tourbus fits that perfectly. If you're playing against Inzectors, you can bounce back Hornet. If you're playing against Darkwold, you can bounce back Grapha. Or you can just bounce back your boss monsters, your Tour Guides, or just anything you want back in your deck. And then Sangan, obviously. It just goes with the Tour Guides and searches stuff, namely Lumina or other Tour Guides. I think that's all it for the monsters. Now, yeah, for spells, Reborn, standard. Then Charge, Triple Recharge, that's standard engine there. Then Heavy Storm, and that's it for spells. I don't run Dark Hole just because honestly I think that's a pretty bad decision, but I wanted to max out on boss monsters and just monsters to deal with stuff. And I didn't feel I would need Dark Hole since I'm running 8 boss monsters and they're going to serve the same purpose anyway. And I figure I'd rather mill, let's say, a JD or a Chaos Sorcerer, then the Dark Hole, just because I can use them as fodder to bring in either boss monsters. So yeah, that's why I did that. And then the one Beckoning Light, which didn't, it worked well enough, but I feel like the build this isn't a good build for Beckoning, just because I wasn't concentrating on milling so much as I was filling the grave with darks, which is kind of different because like the tour guides and in a normal build I would have run just more stuff to mill. Like I would have run Celestia, I would have run 2 more Beckonings, probably 2, Foolish, stuff like that, but I don't know, this worked out. So yeah, I ended up going making top 8. I think I was 5th with X2. I lost to Windups round 3. Game 1, I sacked him. Game 2, he looped me. Game 3, he looped me. So yeah. To be honest though, he is a better player than me, so whatever. Round 4, I beat my friend who was playing Zectors. Round 5, I lost to Sackwings. Then I lost to that same guy in top 8, which kind of sucked, but yeah, what can you do? So now for the extra deck, it's just my little kid token because I'm a pedophile. Then Zen Mains, Tour Guide, because you run Tour Guide. Double Levier, it's good. It's pretty standard. Giga Brilliant, it's if you have Tour Guide, your BLS is instantly live if you drop that. Then you have Acid Golem, it's big. Oh, just quick thing about this. I don't recommend you drop it if you have less than 5,000 life, just because your opponent could just stall you out and burn you to death, which isn't good. And keep in mind that you can't special summon when you have this on the field. And it's pretty much good for a turn, and then you have to pay life. So I mean, if you're gonna have to keep this on the field and support itself with only monsters that you have to normal summon, it can take a lot out of you. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Then 1 Leviathan, standard. Then Roach Utopia. It's very rare that I make rank 4s, but these are the 2 best ones that I can just make without having to use any specific kind of monster. And then for Synchros, Cataster, Bionic, Arcanite, Black Rose, Stardust, Scrap Dragon, and Mistworm. I should probably find room for Thought Ruler or something, or maybe Ice Armor for the mirror match, because believe it or not, there are a few other Lights runs at my locals, so yeah. Now for the shitty side deck, yeah, I built this deck pretty fast, so everything's not top quality, but I thought I'd share with you anyway. Then you have the second Veiler for Windups and Zector and mirror match. A lot of decks. 2 Crow for Dark World and Zectors mostly. In the mirror, I don't know, it's kind of iffy to side it in, just because it's like, am I gonna draw it when they're trying to go off, or with the Lumina when they have 4 names? Well, if they're trying to go off and they have 4 names, then I drop it. But a lot of the time, they're going to have 5 or 6 names anyway, so, Then there's the second Ryako. It kind of serves the purpose of Snowman Eater. That's a name, and then mills. Like, obviously, it's not as good, but it's still light, it's still milled, it's still a name. No. Then Double Reaper, also for Rabbit, to stall them out. And it's dark, and it's a level 3, and you can push with it, which I think is really cool. Then Triple Breaker for people who side in D-Fishers, Light Mirrors, if people still side that. I don't think many do, but, there's the odd person that will. Plus, it's good, because when you summon Breaker, your opponent's going to have 3 potential responses. Well, 3 potential, more than that, actually, but they're going to either have Veiler, Fiendish Chain, or Warning, or Torrential. And either way, like, let's say you summon it, they have to decide, okay, do I waste my Veiler, go -1, they still have a 1600 beater? Do I go Fiendish Chain, they still have a 1600 body? Or do they go Warning, and they lose 2000, you have a Dark in the Grave, and it's a 1-for-1. So, yeah, I think it's really good. And then, 2 Decrees, because, to stop the traps, you don't run, the only trap you run is Beckoning, and so it doesn't really conflict with your traps. Then, triple MST, just people side in a lot of back rows, side in,